Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review She-Ball. And this is written, directed, and starring Nick Cannon. And follows the love of the game through the struggles of Avery Watts, who enlists the baddest women's streetball league in the city to help him save the community center in Inglewood that his family has been running for years. And that's a very simplified plot synopsis, because there's a lot going on in this film. There's so many different characters, there's so many different subplots. I felt like Cannon was trying to cram way too much into this movie, and some of the characters suffer as either just being these stereotypes or basically just walking representations of an idea. And we'll get to that, but thinking about like the direction, there's some inspired shots in terms of shooting the action, like the actual basketball playing in this film. So I appreciated that. So like those scenes were pretty dynamic and interesting and got me a lot more engaged into the film than I thought I was going to be. And you know, Cannon has a bit of an eye here for being able to bring that kind of action, this playing of basketball, with like there's shots from like under the floorboards, there's shots like you're blocking like this and the camera looks like it's probably sitting on something attached to you, and good use of space for you to be able to capture somebody shooting in the background but then seeing that ball go into the hoop. And those different kinds of things made the basketball playing more engaging and more interesting. Now the film has broader themes of Inglewood and neighborhood and family and your sense and place of somewhere. And I appreciated those themes, and you can tell there's a lot of heart that went into this film. And then you have a lot of these ideas of racial tension and ideas of gentrification, and a lot of those things are hit way too on the nose. So there's this character, Shelley, who is like the one white girl in this movie that's like a big part of the proceedings, and she is so obnoxiously on the nose about everything. And she's having these interactions. She's basically like, here's a white person, throw them in here, this is how they're going to react to things, so that then Nick Cannon's character Avery can go on these like big diatribes, these very thematic conversations that feel very unnatural just having in the moment. And it's just like, it's preaching at you. It's too on the nose. It's too right there on the surface. And then it just makes you kind of roll your eyes, because I'm like, okay, I know exactly where this is going. There's specific scenes like they get pulled over by cops. You know that scene's exactly there to put some of those ideas out there as well. And like these parts of the story are these, like, he has this whole entire thing where he's just like, black men shouldn't be dating white women. And of course she's like, well, isn't that a little racist? It's just like, oh my god. And of course, the whole thing where it's like, black men shouldn't be dating white women, of course comes back because, you know, they hate each other. And then by the end, they don't hate each other. I don't really need to spell it out any more than that, but you could probably gather where this film goes with that relationship. And, you know, each of them have like 3 different rivalries going with different characters. It's legitimately, like, this is an overstuffed film, and there's so many things thematically they're trying to do, so many things plot-wise and narratives and subplots and characters that they're trying to convey here. And some of these characters, like, you can see like these bad them doing like a heel turning into a bad guy or an antagonist so far away, and it's easily telegraphed. And then there's parts where it's just like, I know exactly where this is going. I also am like, do I really need to have him in conflict with like 50 different people here? And trying to keep track of that, because then you don't get enough time to really sink in and appreciate those conflicts, because they're trying to balance too many things. And the cast is filled out with some interesting cast member, like Chris Brown's in this, which is a little weird, because, you know, could just beat his girlfriend, but like pop up in everything still. And, you know, but that's Hollywood. Like, look at Mel Gibson. And Louis C.K.'s coming back. And Kevin Spacey's going to be in a movie. And there it is. But it's weird. And, like, it's hard to balance, like, having, like, stunt casting of, like, having non-actors and things because they're popular in other pieces of a culture. Like, he doesn't really bring anything special here. Nick Cannon is playing a very different kind of character than, obviously, like, most of society sees Nick Cannon in. And I think he does a fine job. There's an obvious passion here, and you could feel that. And that's the one of the main reasons why I'm like, I didn't hate this movie, is because there's so much passion here and care. I know he cares about these themes, these ideas, these stories, these characters, and you can feel that. And there's some inspired direction. But it's just an overblown plot, overblown script with so many plot threads, so many tropes and cliches that by the end you're just like, none of this seems surprising to me. And there's so much going on, how did you not at least have something that surprised me? And that's disappointing. But you get to the end of this film, some of the performances are like our main like white person character, like her performance is fine, but like she doesn't bring anything special or interesting to the character. And to be fair, the character is not very interesting or bring anything interesting to the table. It's just like the most interesting thing about her is that she had tragedy in her backstory, and that doesn't even happen in this film. It's just like, remember, this happened to her. Okay, we get that. But in the end, I just think there's way too much going on here. Nothing really surprises you or does anything in an interesting way plot-wise, but the basketball scenes are really cool. And there's definitely a lot of heart and soul that went into this film, so I could appreciate what Nick Cannon was attempting to do here. I probably won't watch She-Ball again. I think there's definitely an audience for this, and like especially if you like basketball, there's definitely enough basketball in here for you to enjoy that aspect of it. And you know, it's not like it's bad script. It's just overstuffed and a little too on the nose in terms of its themes. But those are my thoughts on She-Ball. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.